When did you have to teach adults basic common sense? My neighbor Steve knocked on my door at 11 p.m., completely frantic and drenched in sweat despite the cool October night. My wife's in labor and our car won't start. Can you drive us to the hospital? Please, I'm begging you. Of course, I said yes. We rushed to their house where Daniela was clearly in active labor, gripping the doorframe and breathing heavily through contractions that were coming fast and hard. How far apart are they? I asked while helping her to my car. About 3 minutes, Steve said, his voice shaking. This is our first baby and everything's happening so fast. The drive to Regional Medical Center usually takes 15 minutes, but I made it in 8. Daniela had 2 more intense contractions in the back seat, with Steve holding her hand and trying not to panic. But when we pulled into the hospital parking garage, the security attendant stepped out of his booth and held up his hand, blocking our path. Sorry folks, visiting hours ended at 9 p.m. sharp. You'll need to come back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when we reopen to visitors. I stared at him through my windshield, certain I'd misheard. Excuse me? This woman is literally in labor. I understand your situation, but rules are rules. The maternity ward follows the same visiting policy as every other department in this facility. Daniela let out a deep groan and doubled over with another massive contraction right there in my backseat. Steve was frantically checking his phone's stopwatch. That was only 2 minutes, he said. They're getting closer. I rolled down my window. Are you completely insane? She's about to give birth. The attendant, whose name tag read Gary, crossed his arms defensively. Look, lady, I don't make the hospital policies. I just enforce them. If I let one person in after hours, then everyone will want exceptions. Where does it end? Steve jumped out of the car and ran around to Gary's booth. Please, I'm begging you. The contractions are 2 minutes apart now. Our doctor said to come immediately when they got this close. You should have planned better and arrived during regular visiting hours. Gary replied with a straight face. Babies don't just happen overnight. You had 9 months to figure out proper scheduling. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Daniela was now gripping my headrest, breathing heavily, and making sounds that clearly indicated this baby was coming whether Gary approved or not. Gary, I said, trying to stay calm. This is a medical emergency. This woman could deliver this baby in my car in the next few minutes. That's not my problem. I'm responsible for maintaining order in this parking facility. I've got clear instructions about after-hours access. I honestly started wondering if he thought babies came with appointment times like oil changes. That's when Daniela screamed. Not just a contraction scream, but a "this baby is coming right now" scream. I'd heard enough. I put my car in drive and headed straight for the emergency entrance, driving right past Gary's booth while he shouted about unauthorized entry and threatened to call security. The actual medical staff at the emergency entrance took one look at Daniela and immediately rushed her inside on a stretcher. The nurse didn't ask about visiting hours or parking policies, that she just got Daniela the help she needed. 20 minutes later, Steve came out with tears in his eyes to tell me they had a healthy baby boy. But Gary, the parking attendant, actually had the audacity to track me down in the waiting room with a citation book in his hand. Ma'am, I need to write you up for unauthorized entry into a restricted vehicle zone. You completely ignored my direct instructions. The emergency room doctor overheard this and turned to Gary with the most incredulous expression I'd ever seen. Are you seriously trying to ticket someone who just helped deliver a baby? Rules are rules, doc. I don't care what the circumstances were. I had to spend 10 minutes explaining to a grown man that emergency medical situations, especially active labor, override parking garage policies. Gary still didn't seem convinced and kept muttering about setting precedents and maintaining order. The doctor finally had to escort him out and assured me there would be no citation. Some people really do need basic common sense explained to them like they're 5 years old.